Welcome to another episode of Just Cuz, the podcast where two cousins talk about things they love.
Just cuz. And today, we thought we weren't going to do it. We really did. We even talked about it last episode, saying, we'll never talk about this. But I saw it, and I wanted to talk about it. Today, we are discussing Argylle.
Even in the name of our podcast or our intro, we talk about things we love. And I mentioned last week, if you're a regular listener, you know I did not love this movie. But Sasha, I am so curious because we haven't talked at all about it. What did you think of Argylle?
I thought it was the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Really?
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. No, it wasn't funny. It wasn't the funniest movie I've ever seen, but it was.
I mean, I would believe it if it was unintentionally.
Yeah,
funny.
no. I don't think it was trying. I think it was trying to be funny in some parts, but that's not what made me laugh. It was so unintentionally funny, but not. I don't think it was trying to take itself too seriously at all.
Definitely not.
And that's why I liked it.
Yet, this movie still kind of fell flat for me, and we're gonna get into all of the spoilers and the twists, because there's many of them in this movie.
Yes.
But honestly, if you're listening now and you don't even know what movie we're talking about, maybe go just watch the trailer. Like, you don't need to watch this.
Well, okay, hold on. Because you said, before we even talk about the twist, you said that you saw every single twist coming. Is that true?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much every single one. I'm trying to think of all the twists. There's one at the very end, and that surprised me. And that's the only twist that actually, got me.
I saw nothing coming.
Really?
Because I sat down and I turned my brain off. I always think too much about everything. And this movie, I knew that it was going to be bad because you told me, and I trust you. But and a lot of other people said that it was bad too. And I sat down and I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. So I turned my brain off. And I did not expect a goddamn thing that happened. Honestly, maybe I wouldn't have even expected if I was thinking, because they were throwing so many crazy things at me that I couldn't think of what was next. If that makes sense.
There's a scene before it, and I definitely want to talk about that. But the movie starts with Bryce Dallas Howard, and she's at like a book. She's talking about her book to a bunch of people, and in it must have been asked at least 2 or 3 times. It's like, are you an actual spy? Like, how are you able to do this? Wouldn't it be crazy if you were actually a spy? And I was like, surely that's not the twist.
They only asked that once. They asked her if she was an actual spy once. And I thought that was going to be like, oh, well, she's gonna be a spy. Not that okay.
No, because in that scene, I'm sorry, I have to say it. They talk about a ski accident that she has. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely where she lost, or she got amnesia from when she used to be a spy.
Okay, it was an ice skating accident, and I can't believe you got that mixed up because of later in the movie. But it was very clearly an ice skating accident.
I was more concerned with, like, she got into a big accident and lost her memory, and I was like, they're not actually doing this.
Okay, I see, this is where we differ, because when I watched this, I was not thinking about the spy genre as much. I was thinking about the romance novel writer genre. Whenever there's anything that has a romance writer in it, like that, I feel like that's its own genre. In the romance book genre, there's always some big crazy accident that happened in the past that made the character want to find a new life. And I heard that and I was like, of course she had a big ice skating accident. I heard that and I literally went, this is every romance novel I've ever heard of. And we
both didn't like that line.
No, it's not that we didn't like it. It's just that I thought it was perfectly in keeping with what was going on, and I didn't dive into it to look for a twist. I dove into it to say, hey, that's a signifier of the genre. So
maybe I was looking too far into
no,
it
I don't
for
think
two
you
reasons.
were. Okay.
I watched the trailer and I was very intrigued by it. I wanted to know everything about this mystery with a spy and she's predicting the future and how is she doing it. Like, I was very intrigued by that. So going in, I was asking those questions. But also, the second reason, the scene before it took me way out of the movie.
It was hilarious.
And I was immediately...
I was laughing the whole
time. I think that is what ruined this experience for me, because the CGI is bad, Henry Cavill's haircut is even worse.
It's hilarious. He looks like that guy from The Fairly Odd Parents, or from Animaniacs or whatever.
So they clearly were going for this Bond look, where it was a very iconic look that you see the silhouette of and you immediately know who it is. But none of that for Argylle worked for me. He just looked dumb.
Yeah, he looked absolutely insane. That's why he was hilarious. My thought was, okay, because it made the most sense once they got out of that and they were back in her and she was looking at the action figure. And when it was her, Bryce Dallas Howard, what the fuck was her name? Bryce Dallas Howard looking at the...
it's just Bryce Dallas
Conway.
Howard.
That's it, right? When it was her looking at the action figure, I was like, oh, okay, this is just the life-size version of that action figure. This is just, he's just toys, but as a human, like, come to life, you know?
Right.
He has that dumb haircut and he has those dumb outfits. I thought it was hilarious.
That suede jacket, it looks bad.
And the whirly bird, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
But it comes back.
Yeah, and it was stupid both times in the best way. It was absolutely fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
But yeah, Henry Cavill's grinding his car down the streets and straddling buildings.
Destroying the streets of Greece. And I was like, okay, this is obviously in the romance novel because that's crazy.
Yeah.
That would never happen in real life. Okay, hold on. Let's just get the full spoiler out there because we're obviously talking about it already. The big twist, one of the big twists is that...
Yeah, there's many. There's many big twists.
I saw literally none of them coming.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. No, let's go through twist by twist because I think there will be... I think the first twist, it's not a twist that that they're actual spies because that's what you came to see the movie for. You know that's coming. Yeah. That's not a twist. The first big twist, I think, is when Bryan Cranston walks in and she goes, "Hi, Dad," and you're like, "What?" Because Bryan Cranston is the bad guy, but then he
shoots Rob Delaney earlier in the movie because he's just angry at everyone.
And he's her dad, and at first, I thought they were doing the trope of, oh, you never see the dad. Oh, it's an off-screen dad. And I thought, oh, that's so funny. Catherine O'Hara. Oh, where's your husband? Oh, he's getting ice, blah, blah, blah. And I never thought they were going to bring the dad in. And then they did, and it was Bryan Cranston, and I lost my shit. It was so good.
I'll give the movie this. I didn't see that twist coming.
That was so good.
When the door opened and, like, the camera panned back and Bryan Cranston was like... hey, and he was super just bubbly and happy. Yeah. I was like, what? And
I was like, oh my god, I'm having Malcolm in the Middle flashbacks.
He went from Walter White to
he went backwards.
Character's name is Malcolm in the Middle.
I don't know, Malcolm's dad.
Yeah, that's what
I don't remember. I just call him Bryan Cranston. But before that, it was a kind of like sub twist where the guy, what was the guy's name? The boy.
Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's character. What was his name? It was Aiden. Yeah.
Yes.
Aiden was secretly like, oh, Elle Conway needs a bullet in her head, or Ellie Conway needs a bullet in her head. And I was like, oh no, drama. I knew it was gonna be the misunderstanding trope.
Yes.
But I didn't know in what way. So I was like, oh damn, girl, you gotta get out of there. I was like, yeah, call your mama. You can always trust Catherine O'Hara. And then we get to her dad is Bryan Cranston, and I was like, oh my god, he has a secret double life. This is crazy. And nobody knows about it. And then in comes Aiden, and he shoots Catherine O'Hara.
But not before Catherine O'Hara puts a bullet up to Ellie's head.
A gun,
or
yeah,
not
she
a
puts
bullet,
a gun
gun
up to Ellie's head, and she goes, and then she starts being British. And that was the second twist, that Catherine O'Hara and Bryan Cranston were not actually Ellie's parents, and Ellie had no idea. And I was like, what? This is crazy.
What's going on?
It was like Days of Our Lives, guys. It was so good. Every twist you could possibly imagine. And so I didn't expect that one, and they shot Catherine O'Hara, and I was like, well, obviously she's not dead. So
it's Catherine O'Hara.
You're not gonna kill Catherine O'Hara in the midpoint of your movie. That's just a dumb thing to do. She's pure gold.
Right after she pulls out a British accent that we hadn't heard before in the movie either.
You can't kill her then.
No.
So that wasn't.
And you also brought it up earlier where Aiden kind of just says, "Oh, I want to shoot this woman in the head," and I don't like how they explain that later on, where he was just like, "Oh, you take things too literally."
Yeah, that was
like you said you wanted to shoot her.
Yeah, no, it's like he was like, Elle Conway needs a bullet between the eyes. And it's like, what the fuck? That's not.
It's like, I get you're not talking about.
Okay,
Ellie,
hold on. Okay, so we have to get to the last twist. I mean, not the last twist, but the best one.
There's also a couple more after that.
Yeah, there are. But this one was really special because I didn't know this, and I don't think you know this, but my friend told me that she didn't see the movie, but she knows what this twist is because she saw an article that the studio that produced this put out before the movie ever came out, right as the trailer started to run. And it was an article. What? And it said the twist in it. It said it right there.
Are you kidding me?
It spoiled it for everyone who read that article. And my friend was like, yeah, I don't need to see the movie. I already know what happens. I already know.
So I guess someone needs to get fired.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's crazy. Why would a studio do that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I haven't read the article, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But the twist is that Argylle is real, but he's not a spy. He's not a secret agent. He is Elle Conway because her name, Ellie, her real name is Rachel R. Kyle.
Did they need to give her that name?
I thought it was hilarious. Like I said, this is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, okay? Her name is R. Kyle, aka real life Argylle. And I don't know what is her fucking name. Bryce Dallas Howard. I keep trying to call her Rachel Elizabeth Dare, and I'm like, that's not her name. That's just another redhead.
I should say I really do like this twist and the way they foreshadow it.
Yeah.
Because there's moments where she's seeing Argylle in the mirror and she's like talking to him.
Yeah. And I thought she was just, I was like, but there are also times when she sees Argylle in the place of Aiden. So I'm like, oh my God, she's just some fortune teller and Aiden is this spy who's doing all this stuff and she's gonna fall in love with him. But then it was a twist and I loved it. I was so entertained.
And I think logically for me, guessing that she was Argylle, that kind of meant that Aiden had to be Wyatt.
I think they really, I said this to my dad in the theater because apparently I go to see all of these movies with my dad. Because I don't want to be alone. I think of quips while I'm watching and I don't want them to go to waste. So I lean over to my dad and I say, if they don't make Henry Cavill and John Cena kiss, I'm a riot.
Okay,
they missed
we're getting ahead of ourselves
huge opportunity.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, there's a shot where
literally
they're kissing. Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard are kissing, and they pan up to an explosion, and then they pan back down, and it's Henry Cavill
and John Cena. And I'm like, why aren't
they're
they
not kissing? They should have been kissing.
That was a crime against humanity. We riot at dawn. Put it on the board. This will never be forgiven. What studio produced this, okay? It was Marv.
It was Apple.
Apple and Marv in association with Apple. Riot! Protest tomorrow!
Why weren't they kissing? That's the only thing I care about, honestly.
I know John Cena and Henry Cavill are actors. They've been theater boys. They would not be opposed to this idea. Okay? They would have been like, this would be hilarious. How dare you not do
pranksters. They would have done it.
How dare they not do this? What a disappointment.
But we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Whatever.
I kind of want to go back somewhat to the beginning. I just have random notes.
Okay,
like
go ahead.
CGI looks terrible.
Yeah, the CGI was absolute trash. Why was it a fake cat the whole time? Their CGI was probably so bad that they couldn't match it to the real cat, and there would be just too much of a difference that they had to do a CGI cat the whole time. But it was very bad.
It looked bad. There was other really bad CGI, but the cat was just out.
That added to the hilarity. I loved it. I loved every goddamn second of it.
I mean, the cast is also phenomenal. I think this cast is a little wasted on this movie.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I really enjoyed Bryce Dallas Howard playing Argylle. I really enjoyed that. But I think that she was absolutely the wrong choice to play Ellie Conway. I think that her acting was not suited to this kind of a role. I don't think her anxiousness was believable. I don't think that her false grip on reality, like her seeing Argylle and Aiden and her talking to herself, none of it seemed believable. And I was like, if you're going with this head injury, mystic, is she mystic? Is she crazy? Is she unexplainable kind of a vibe? You have to have someone who really sells that, who really sells this is really here and this is really happening. And she didn't sell that for me.
I don't know if I ever even noticed that, but now that I'm going back and just thinking about it, there's a certain just separation between what she's kind of acting out and what is actually happening. And maybe that's just because this movie is meant to be hyper real, but it just it just doesn't really work. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I think she was really good when she was I think she was really good in all the fight choreography. I think she was really good as Rachel Kyle, as Argylle. Yeah. I think she did a great job at that, and she was really good at playing the spy role. But as Ellie Conway, it didn't sell it for me, and that is the majority of the movie. So I was really let down by that, and I feel bad. But there, I said
it. Moving on to something that I really did like. The first kind of action sequence, other than Henry Cavill doing bad CG, is Sam Rockwell on the train.
It was so good.
And I really liked
that. Guys, it was so good. I was like, hello, bullet train? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing this.
It was sick as hell.
And it's like cutting back and forth from Ellie's point of view, where she's seeing Argylle in certain situations that Aiden's doing.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. Okay, I'm on a lot of limbs today. This is where it is, but
we're leaning on all of our limbs.
But I think all of the fight scenes, with the exception of 2 at the end, I think all of the fight scenes and fight choreography were very good, very Kingsman-esque. I thought that it was, I thought it was very well shot. This movie, lot of fun.
All of the action sequences have this same Kingsman style pan and zoom, and it'll hard edit and cut, and it's really fun. It felt a little bloodless when compared to Kingsman, but I still enjoyed watching it.
I totally noticed that. I was like, there's no blood in this movie. Interesting. And okay, you know what? Okay, we all already know that this is in the Kingsman universe because you said it in the last episode, and if you didn't know, well, fuck you. Listen to our last episode.
It doesn't matter. It's probably not gonna get a sequel or anything like that.
I think it might. I don't know. I think there's enough goodwill with the Kingsman stuff. And I literally, as I walked out of the movie theater, I am crazy. So I went to talk to myself in the bathroom mirror, like, the crazy bitch from this movie. But I was like, you know what? Compared to the first two Kingsmen, I don't think this was that different. I think
you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I love Kingsman.
Sorry.
I love Kingsman. This is worse, definitely. It's not as good.
Oh, yeah.
But like in quality. But I'm talking about in like the stuff that's in it, the crazy things that are happening. It's not that different from the first two Kingsmen.
That's true.
Kingsman is a crazy franchise. We don't think of it as such right now because the last one we saw was a period piece, and it was also crazy, but it was, hidden behind all of that gilded, past stuff. It doesn't feel like it takes place in our world because it's in the past, right? The modern day Kingsman movies are crazy as hell. This feels like a perfect match for that. It feels like the next, like, not next installment, but it feels like it matches that universe, okay?
Yes.
This is the universe where, I forget his name. What's his name in Kingsman? The main guy. What's his name? Eggsy, yeah. This is the universe where a princess tells Eggsy that if he saves the world, she'll let him fuck her in the ass. That Elton John was kidnapped by some crazy psychopath and kept in an amusement park with robots. This is that same level. And I think this is definitely a different perspective into that world of spies. Like, it's definitely a more romantic perspective, a more female-centric perspective. It was worse, definitely not as good as the first two Kingsmen, but it is still fun, and it absolutely
I'd even
hilarious.
say it might be on par with the second Kingsman. I just love that first one so much.
The first one's great. I like the second Kingsman.
It's not bad.
Did you know?
I totally misstepped. Argylle is way worse than the second Kingsman. I'm sorry to anyone.
Did you know that my first date ever, I went to go see the second Kingsman in the movie theater?
And I'm sure it was a magical experience.
It absolutely was not. First of all, at that point in time, I had not seen the first Kingsman. And I did not realize that I was being asked out on a date, and by the time I realized it, it was too late to say no.
Ooh. Those are the fun ones.
Poor 15-year-old me.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, the Kingsman franchise, amazing. The first movie and the prequel, clearly better than the second, but there's a couple things that as soon as, the end credits scene happened and they said that this is in the Kingsman universe, I was taken aback. Because first of all, Sam Jackson is in this movie.
Yep.
And he's in the first Kingsman.
Who did he play in the first Kingsman? I forgot.
He was the villain.
He was
He was the entrepreneur with the lisp who wanted to destroy the world.
Oh my
God, kill a
you're
bunch of people.
Right.
Yeah, and Sam Jackson's right-hand woman was Sofia Boutella, the Lady Mummy, and she was also in this movie.
Oh wow, maybe they got a lot of maybe they got a checkered history. Maybe there's more secrets to unravel.
Maybe
it's on purpose.
Maybe there is an in-universe explanation,
yeah, well,
and it's also just Matthew Vaughn working with people that he likes. But that did not make sense to me, those returning actors, if you want to make it in the same universe.
It didn't have to be in the same, time. This could have been before that stuff. Maybe. I don't know. But
so
whatever.
Sam Jackson, he's like a hacker who works at a remote site, and then he gains a lisp, and then he runs a company and then decides to kill everyone.
Or maybe that was all pretend in the first Kingsman.
Maybe.
Who knows? They're spies. They're good at lying. The bigger the spy, the bigger the lie, or whatever they fucking say.
I think that is the line.
No, it's something else.
That sounds right.
Not larger. It's I don't know. It's
the bigger
something
they are,
dumb.
the harder they fall.
It's something dumb and cheesy and hilarious.
I'm trying to think of some other good things to talk about so that we're not just ragging on this movie.
I think there were some great things, you know? I'm not ragging on it at all. I think the cat, the dumb, stupid cat who was bad CGI and gave away their position while they were hiding.
Yeah.
Oh, first of all, Sam Rockwell fucking saved this film. He was so good in it. He was hilarious. He was great in the fighting scenes, whatever it is, the combat,
the choreography, whatever.
Yeah, he was a perfect romantic lead. I bought everything from him. I loved it.
As always, he's charismatic, and I'm pretty sure he has to force in a dancing scene into every one of his movies. Because he does it in this movie.
Oh my god, we didn't even talk about the terrible fighting scenes.
Oh yes, is that the end?
Yes, it's
with
the
the
end.
smoke and...
Okay. So first, they get cornered into this oil room. So, like, there's a lot of betrayal and the back and forth and shooting each other and blah, 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 right? Anyway.
And there's thrown gas around and it looks like Harley Quinn.
No, I'm not there yet. No, I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
So, first we go Rachel and Aiden and the cat, whose name I forget. But it's named after Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson and the cat have the same name.
How am I forgetting this? You keep on talking. I'm gonna remember this.
So they get cornered in this room. They're being chased by Catherine O'Hara and Bryan Cranston's men. I think his name is Carlos or something. They get trapped by them in a room that is filled with oil. They shoot a vat and the oil pours out all over the floor. Okay, first of all, I'm like, okay, very stupid. It's like, why is there an oil room here? It makes sense, I guess, a little bit later, but because it turns out they're on an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, and I was like, oh, why would you have your layer here? That's stupid. But whatever. And then they get cornered, and then Sam Rockwell's like, it's like, it's okay if we die, just kiss me. And then Ellie Conway or Rachel or Bryce Dallas Howard,
whoever she is at the moment,
she goes, wait a second, were all of my memories fake? Was my ice skating accident fake? And then he was like, no, you can ice skate. And he was like, but what about my kiss? And then she's like, never mind. And then she straps some knives to her shoes and starts ice skating on the oil in the room. That's on the oil that's covering the floor.
Oh,
it
looks bad.
The worst and best thing I've ever seen. I thought, how did someone put this in a major motion picture? How is this not haunting someone's nightmares? That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And she makes a musket. She puts a knife in the barrel of a what was that, an AK-47 or something?
I don't...
Starts knifing people as
she makes a bayonet with it.
Yeah, not a musket, a bayonet, that's it.
And I'm assuming you haven't seen The Transporter with Jason Statham?
No.
So that came out 10, 20 years ago, whatever it is. There's a scene in it where Jason Statham and a whole bunch of other people fight in this oil-slicked area. And it's done practically for real. And it doesn't look good, but my god, it looks 10 times better than this in Argylle.
I mean, I don't think it was supposed to look good.
I think it was. I think it was supposed to look graceful.
I'm sitting here watching that, and I literally went... You can't see my face because this is an audio
just
medium,
eyes wide open.
I was flabbergasted. I literally tapped my dad on the shoulder and I said, am I hallucinating right now? It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Absolutely hilarious. 10 out of 10 would watch again. It was so bad. She was doing her twirls and she was killing everybody and there was no blood. And then when she got it, and then she did like this knee split and like she was wearing a dress. So she slid her bare knees on this oil slick concrete floor, and she got up and there was not a drop of oil on her knees, and I went, they don't want this to look good. That's how I know.
And then it ends with her doing a spin thing and he's shooting a gun at the whole time, and like,
first of all, anyone who might be confused, do not try this at home. Oil is not ice. That's number one.
Because technically she should just be skating on the ground going through the oil as the knives should work.
Yes, it's absolutely not logistically possible. It is the funniest thing in the world.
So they set up this scene by they shoot some oil on the ground and it starts leaking, and everyone's like, guns down, knives up. And they actually say that line.
Yeah.
And it is so ridiculous.
Because
I mean, maybe
that was so funny, because I think their thought process was like, if we ignite the oil with our guns, then like with the gunpowder, then we'll all go up into flames. And I was like, very smart. But why would you take out knives?
They start shooting later on anyway, and maybe if they had just said guns down and not the knives up line, it would have worked better for me.
I was like, what is this, West Side Story? Put those things away. You are international spies. Why do you look like a street gang trying to corner a woman outside of a club? Jesus Christ.
They start walking towards her and clicking, just... There's even a scene in another movie by this same director, and it's the Kingsman prequel, where they're in no man's land. They realize that they can't shoot any of their guns, so they pull out knives, and it's all done without dialogue.
Yeah, and they don't go,
so why couldn't they have done something like that?
Knives up, boys.
It's so dumb.
I loved it. It was so stupid. Okay, and then directly after that scene, there's a quick cut to Bryan Cranston and Catherine O'Hara, and Bryan Cranston goes, "Somebody get them!" It's so good. What a performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, it was the classic businessman bad guy who was like, "Send everybody. I want every man after them."
I'm sitting in my office, but you go get them. I'm so angry. You're not doing your job right. And then... And then there's another fight sequence where Rachel and Aiden are dance fighting, because dancing was like brought up earlier and in the book, and he was always like, hey, just dance, whatever.
Let's dance together.
It was a very dumb through line, but the
movie starts with the Henry Cavill and I think a famous singer. I don't know, but they were dancing and they were holding, and I think this fight scene might be before the oil slick, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's after. Third act, I'm pretty sure it's after, because it's how they get out of the oil room, right?
You know what? You might be right.
I
don't know either.
But
I don't want to put that much brain energy into thinking
whatever
about what
sequence
scene
they might be in. I know that they are immediately following each other. And this one, they're dance fighting, but they're not only dance fighting. If they were only dance fighting, I would be like, that's hilarious. I love it. But they're also doing, like you said, Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn smoke bombs, and the whole place is in a rainbow of different colors. And I was like, this is too, halfway through the fight sequence, I was like, this is too much. First of all, it's going on too long. There's too much smoke, and they're doing too many dance moves that aren't hitting people and not fighting. I was like, you got to incorporate the fighting into the dance if you're going to do that. And it was, that was the only part when I was like, this is dragging. Guys, get it together.
Come on,
get it together.
Let's wrap it up.
We're after a comedy masterpiece here. We're getting an Oscar. We're getting an Oscar in absurdism. You need to pull it together.
That needs to be a new category in the Oscars, because this would win.
If I'm telling you, I'm 100% telling you, if there was an absurdist category in the Oscars, and if this fight sequence was 1 minute shorter, and if John Cena and Henry Cavill kissed, it would win. It would win the Oscar.
You're right. You know what? It wouldn't even need the absurdist Oscar. If it did those two things, it could win Best Picture with ease.
I don't want that CGI cat accepting that Oscar. I can't live in a world where that's possible.
They would make it walk like a human.
No, it was like, you remember when, well, obviously you don't remember because we were like 2, but you know, into the void. Like, you've seen a clip when Shrek was nominated for Best Picture, and then they did the
Yes.
animated clip of Shrek and Donkey sitting in the Oscar seats next to the real people, and I was like, do it with the CGI cat.
Yeah.
And sitting next to Sam Jackson because they have the same name.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Oh, no.
Absolutely
I mean-
hilarious. 10 out of 10 would watch it.
Honestly, one thing I forgot to bring up earlier with the CGI cat is there's a moment where they drop the cat onto a crash pad.
Yeah,
or just
that was
some
in the
boxes
trailer.
or whatever.
That was in the trailer.
And then, yeah, they fall on it, and physics-wise, they should have crushed that cat, right? It shouldn't have been popped back up into the
what
air.
do you mean physics-wise they should have crushed that cat? It was a
I mean,
it was like a crash pad. They didn't land on
But
top of the cat.
But they landed near enough. They
would
in
only-
my head,
They would only crush
they
it if
landed,
they landed
close
on top
enough to where that cat would have been displaced right next to them, and by just touching that cat, by falling that far, either way,
I don't know.
that scene did not work.
I think we both know that this movie does not abide by the laws of physics, i.e.,
You're right.
oil ice skating on knives.
Henry Cavill grinding his car down the stairwell.
No, sorry, through the houses of Greece.
Yeah.
Like,
He does too many terrible things. Oh my God.
I thought it was so stupid. It was such a fun, stupid time. If you're in the mood for a fun, stupid time, want to laugh your ass off at some dumb, fun shit, go watch Argylle.
Yeah. I wish I had more fun with this, but yeah, definitely go watch Argylle. Let us know.
I think you have to go in not expecting to like it. I think that's the secret, because you really wanted to like it. And before you saw
I
it,
did.
I also really wanted to like it. And then if you go in with zero expectations, you're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. But I can't think of too much else to say. I mean, sorry. I was about to move on to the next segment, and I didn't even bring up mulleted Superman Henry Cavill when he shows up at the end, and he's like, I'm sure you got a lot of questions for me. And I'm I guess I do.
I didn't get that at all. Is he supposed to be like that guy from Kingsman in the future? With the curly hair? Or like from the Kingsman pub? Not Kingsman. In the end credit sequence, there's a guy and he's like, I'm Argylle, and he has curly hair.
Yeah. You know what? I think you're right. I didn't even connect those dots, but that makes sense to me.
But that's also stupid, though, because the
it
whole
doesn't
twist
make
of this
sense.
movie is that she's Argylle. Why would this guy be here and also be Argylle and also look like her hallucination of Henry Cavill, who doesn't exist because it was just her?
Also,
maybe it's a face. Maybe because wait, hold on. Theory, okay? Maybe since all of the stories that she was creating were actually memories of her life, maybe the face of Argylle that she created was also a memory from her life, and she just took that face and put it into all of her deeds. That
would make sense. Like, maybe this face used to be in the spy world of some sort.
Or I don't know. Maybe it's
he could be anyone.
Maybe it's from her past or something. Her name is Kyle. That could be Southern. I don't know. I don't know the South, but well.
Are we going to see the resolution of this? I mean, Kingsman 3 is confirmed. Yeah. So we're definitely getting that. Well, I don't know if we're ever going to get a sequel to this.
It said at the end, like, book 1, the book or something. Yeah.
So, and it's a little weird because I don't know if Henry Cavill can be the future version of that guy, because I kind of interpreted the post-credit scene to be in the book. Like, that was fictional. And the movie I didn't think that is going to be fictional.
I didn't think that at all. I don't know.
But yeah, it does say book 1 Kingsman coming soon. So whatever that means.
I don't know. I just know that I would not be upset if Sam Rockwell and a fake-looking cat turned up in the next Kingsman. I would not be very upset. And Bryce Dallas Howard playing the spy version, not the quirky, awkward writer version.
With that, let's move on to the next segment, the consumption corner, where we're just starved for content. Sasha, what have you been consuming that isn't incredibly hilarious movies.
Well, I finally started my Gilmore Girls rewatch because, as you recall, I tried to start it in fall, and then I got bored because it wasn't really cold where I lived. It didn't feel like fall. It didn't feel like Gilmore Girls season. And it has to feel, you have to feel it in your bones, right? So now that it's finally rainy season where I live, I am now watching Gilmore Girls. And even though it's the middle of February, it is my fall. And I am having a great time.
I've never seen a minute of Gilmore Girls, so I don't know what kind of seasonal show it is.
Fall.
Is it? Okay.
Autumn.
I mean, you did just confirm it to me what kind of season it is.
Well, okay. So you have no gauge for any of this. So I'm going to ask you a Gilmore Girls question, and you're going to answer just whatever you feel. Okay?
Yep.
Ready? Okay. So, who are you, team Dean, Jess, or Logan?
Oh man, I was about to say Dean because of Sam and Dean, the Winchesters, but Logan, just because that's Wolverine.
Okay. Oh my god, you don't know how funny that is that you said that. Okay, so the guy who plays Dean on Gilmore Girls is Jared Padalecki, who goes on to play Sam.
That's Sam.
in Supernatural. Yeah.
Because you said that, I'm picking Dean. I'm Team Dean.
And you're wrong twice, okay?
Damn it.
Anyone who's out there who's listening, it's Team Jess all the way. Fight me. Fight me, okay?
I don't know what any of that means.
Honey,
but
Peter
I'm still
Petrelli.
Team Dean.
Peter Petrelli.
I don't know who that is.
What? You've never seen Heroes?
I mean, oh, okay. You said Peter Petrelli, and I was like, the Rat Man?
I was about
from
to
Harry
say,
Potter?
No, that's... What?
That's Peter Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew, you heathen. Okay. No, I was going to say, if you've never seen Heroes, we're going to have to stop right now, take a month off, and you're going to have to watch all of Heroes, and then we're going to have to talk about it.
Like everyone else, I watched all of season 1, loved it, watched like half of season 2, and then dropped off.
What? Okay, that's not terrible. But, okay, season 4, bad. Okay, but season 3, it has some redeeming qualities.
I also watched like half of the reboot season.
No, bad.
That was really, really bad.
I watched the whole thing and it got canceled in the middle of the season because it was so bad. Don't ever talk about that again. It doesn't exist.
I won't. Trust me, it will never come up.
Season 1 is as close as you can get to the perfect season of television. Season 1 of Heroes, season 1 of Stranger Things, and I don't know, season 1 of something else.
I'm trying to think of some others.
But those are.
I mean, I got plenty of like comic book favorites: Daredevil, Invincible. I like both of those.
Oh, those are great. You're right. I think you're right. The first season. Yeah. No, season 3 of Daredevil is better than season 1.
You are right with that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I figure I could also talk about something that I have been reading because I should have probably mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but obviously I'm still reading Game of Thrones, and I'm still very much into that. My girlfriend and I are way into that. We're on like season 6 right now, so we're kind of getting into the worst stuff.
In the books, have you gotten to Fagon yet?
I have not, because I'm still on book 3, but I had to stop reading Lord of the Rings, because reading Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings
you were trying to kill yourself.
Too many names to memorize.
Weren't you also trying to read Dune?
I finished Dune.
Oh, okay,
thankfully.
good. I was like, you know what? A real breath of fresh air is just Paul,
Yeah.
Bilbo and
Duncan.
And Targaryen, and then Paul,
Yes. But yeah, I definitely like picked up the Dune sequel, Dune Messiah. I got like a page in, and I was like, maybe another time. This is not for me.
Yeah.
But I figure I could also move on to a couple movies that are similar to Argylle that I should recommend.
Okay.
Because there is a movie that is not great, but it's definitely more fun than Argylle. It stars Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick in a very similar movie where Sam Rockwell plays this spy assassin, and Anna Kendrick, through a series of events, gets involved with him, and then it's a romance. but it's called Mr. Right, and I would definitely recommend it.
I know that movie. I never saw.
If
I
you've
saw
seen
like
it-
half of it and fell asleep. I don't remember what happened. Not because it was bad, because I was
It's-
tired. Not because it was bad, guys. Just because I was tired.
I'm not gonna go and try and argue and say this movie's great, but it's fun. Definitely go watch
Okay.
it.
I'll have to watch that at some point because I genuinely don't remember
Yes.
anything.
Also, another one that is very similar to Argylle, and it's just because it's about this author who has to go on an actual adventure similar to what her stories are.
If it
and that
also-
is The Lost City.
If it also stars Sam Rockwell, you get a prize.
No,
Aw.
sadly, it's Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum,
Aw.
who are still fun.
Oh,
but-
wait. The Lost City. I love that movie. Yeah, Daniel
I was gonna
Radcliffe's
say-
in that. He plays the villain.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was
yeah,
a
it's
fun
very,
one.
very good.
It
I'd go as far as
did.
to say The Lost City is really, really good.
I think the Lost City had the Argylle had very strong Lost City vibes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Very,
I thought
very
that it.
strong.
That's what I thought it was gonna be. And then there were all the twists and turns. I was like, woo. Not as scary.
Yeah,
ooh,
definitely-
like a ghost, like a
Mm.
ooh, oh my,
Like, ooh,
oh my stars.
I'm getting
you know,
the rug pulled out from under me.
yeah.
But is there anything else that you've been watching, reading, listening to?
Yeah. There's stuff.
No. Plenty of stuff.
I can't for the life of me think of what they are though. I started a new book. It's called Iris Kelly Doesn't Care. No, that's not it. It's called Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. It is in a
Okay.
series where the first book is called Delilah Green Doesn't Care. There are a trilogy of sapphic romance books that take place in the same small town. So that's fun. It's a fun, refreshing read after I finished Cersei and cried. So after
I
Madeline,
still have to read those.
after Madeline Miller damages your soul, just read a fun little romp. Okay,
Yeah.
you gotta have a refresher. You have to have the ginger to cleanse your palate. You know.
Well, I mean, speaking about fun reads, I have been diving deep into a lot of different Deadpool comics, like especially specifically the Deadpool kills, because I am editing a new video for my YouTube channel about Deadpool 3, and I'm deep in the throes of it because I was waiting for the trailer
Yeah,
to
I was
come
gonna
out
say, wait a minute.
today.
We have to talk about.
And it has.
We have
and
to
honestly,
talk about the
we
trailer.
have to talk about
We have
it.
to talk about the trailer. It came out today.
Mhm.
Oh my god, it was so good. I was so worried, as was everyone. Everyone was worried that Disney was
Yep.
going to get its little claws into Deadpool and turn it into some PG nightmare. But you know what? We should have had more faith in Ryan Reynolds because I don't think he would stand for that. And
No.
we were right. You know, the first line of any substance in this trailer is, "Hey, come on, guys. Pegging's not new for me, but it is for Disney." Wink. And I was
And
like,
then he looks at the
"We're
camera.
back. We are back, Wade Wilson." Yes.
And he's got a really dumb toupee on, and I was like, what the hell is that? And then they grab his head, and it comes off. It was perfect.
He gets snapped by the TVA. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so good. And then he calls himself Marvel Jesus. And the guy from Succession
eye-
is there. And
Yes.
it's great. I'm very excited. Very excited. And there's one fight sequence
Very,
that
very
looks like it's
excited.
right in front of the 20th Century Fox
It is.
logo.
Yeah.
Which so great. Yeah, I hope they burn his whole timeline, not because I hate all the people in the previous Deadpools, but like Deadpool needs to be this cross, timeline character.
Yes.
He has to not be bound to one specific place. And
I mean, Deadpool kind of exists in the comic 616 timeline isolated-ish, but he's always bouncing around.
yeah,
Like,
but
no matter what.
he's bouncing around, he's jumping through panels, he can do whatever he wants. And
Yes.
it's gonna be, I will be absolutely, floored if he doesn't make a She-Hulk joke, because
He has
that
to.
should happen.
There's a part of my video, and shameless plug, Sandwich Reviews, but I talk about how every aspect of Deadpool is just a ripoff of someone else, and I want Deadpool to acknowledge that and have a full-on existential crisis about it. That would be amazing.
I'm just Did you see what they posted on Instagram?
No.
Alongside the trailer, he posted or I don't know if it was Ryan Reynolds or the Deadpool account, but one of them posted, they're basically the same thing. And one of them posted a picture of best friend heart-shaped necklace, and half of it was Deadpool's face and half of it was Wolverine's face.
Yes.
And
oh my god, that's perfect.
Oh god. So good.
I'm honestly really excited for the marketing lead up to this movie, because Deadpool movies are always balls to the walls with the marketing.
Absolutely. I hope they don't show any more of the actual movie than what they did in this trailer. I think it was a perfect trailer. I don't want them to show...
Honestly, they showed too much.
Yeah.
I don't...
No, it was enough to get me engaged. We've talked about this before. Yeah.
Yeah. I needed to see that much, and I would obviously love to see more, but don't show it.
Yeah. Don't show more. Do something creative. The last one was the Valentine's Day one, and he was all in the rugs and stuff. It was great. They're gonna do something creative again. I just know it. Everyone's anticipating it. I'm really anticipating it. Something else that came out today. I know you don't know anything about it, but the Wicked trailer came out.
Yes.
It looked very good, but also I am still apprehensive because the set and the CGI looked just like it did in Oz the Great and Powerful. And you know what? Maybe it was just like far away in the trailer. Maybe I hope that it's not going to look like that in the actual movie, but Oz the Great and Powerful is not a great film. So
you don't like Oz the Great and Powerful? I mean, I haven't seen it in years, so maybe I should rewatch it.
I haven't seen it in a long time either, but I know that he's just like really sexist in it, and I'm like, stop. And it's like, okay, so I grew up watching Wicked. So like at the same time that I watched the Wizard of Oz, I watched Wicked. We were in a musical household, right? So I never really thought of Elphaba, or the Wicked Witch, as super evil or petty or just open to other interpretations. I thought, that's it. She's her. She's Elphaba. And then in Oz the Great and Powerful, I saw it, and she had a different name. She wasn't Elphaba, because she doesn't have a name in the Wizard of Oz, so she could be anything.
Right.
And so she had a different name, and then she turned into the Wicked Witch. She was played by Mila Kunis. I love Mila Kunis. But she turned into the Wicked Witch because she was jealous of Oz dating Glinda or something like that. It was like very bad and weird and sexist, and I didn't love it. But I'm really hoping that the CGI holds up more. I'm really looking forward to this. Everybody knows that the Wicked movie has been literally in the works since like 2010, and it never got off the ground, and it's finally happening, and there's a scandal around it, so that'll make people want to watch it more, you know, like I hope it sticks the landing. I really do, especially because they're splitting it into 2 parts. And I saw some things that I was like, well, I don't know where they're splitting it. That's the thing. I'm like, are they going to split it on the intermission after Defying Gravity?
Is there like a cliffhanger moment?
Yeah, the intermission. Yeah, Act 1 and Act 2. Which I was like, okay, easy split. Yeah. But there were a few things that I saw in the trailer that I was like, on first glance, those look like things that would be after in Act 2. Like Dorothy. Dorothy was in the trailer, but Dorothy is not in Act 1, because Act 1 takes place years and years before Dorothy ever comes to Oz. And Dorothy is not really in Wicked. Like, she's talked about, and you hear her, like, scream once, but she's not in Wicked, because it's not about her. And she's always just off stage, you know? It's that kind of thing. It's like, oh, I just watched Dorothy walk away. Like, she comes on stage, and she's like, ugh, that insipid girl with my ruby slippers, you know, that kind of thing. So Dorothy was there, and I was like, oh, okay, what's happening? Anyway, I could talk about it forever, but yeah, thank you, Superb Owl. You have given us much trailers.
Thank you. I will never watch the actual game itself, but I will always stay tuned for the trailers.
What game? Does the Superb Owl play a game?
No, they just bring out this really big bowl.
Oh! The Superb Owl sits in a super bowl?
Yeah.
Wow. What a magical country we live in.
It's so amazing. It's this annual tradition.
Okay. I don't know why that I don't know where that came from.
But the Deadpool comics, I don't know if I mentioned them. They are Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe again, Deadpool versus Deadpool, which is where the 616 version of Deadpool faces off against the version of Deadpool from those two storylines earlier. That's really fun.
Do they have
There's
sex?
also Deadpool. I'm not going to spoil it.
Aww. That's the thing that I would expect Deadpool to do if he met himself.
No, sadly they don't.
What?
But there's also
That's a betrayal
Deadpool
of the character.
Secret Wars. Yeah, that would be amazing. But all those comics, they're not amazing, but definitely go read them if you want a good time.
Noted.
But with that,
This has been a Superb Owl podcast.